Hello, everyone. I'm Aja from the Village Family Services. I'm here today to talk with Paula Hampton. She is the program manager at Hands the Family Network in North Bay. Welcome, Paula.
Hello, thank you for having me today.
Thank you for being here. I'm sure the families will appreciate this. So we do have a few questions we'd like to go through. First and foremost, what are the services offered with Hands for children with autism spectrum disorders?
So our autism services here at Hands, we offer a variety of services. Some are directed towards the child and youth themselves with autism, and there's other learning opportunities for caregivers and family members of those caregivers. So we have our direct behavior therapy and our direct speech and language therapy. Those, again, can be both coaching models for caregivers and resident workers or anybody in the family. They can also be direct work with the child directly, and on a huge variability of intensities, and depending on what your goals are, it depends on what length of time and how many hours a week we would do those services at. We also offer clinics, which are small group sessions for our kids to join together. We have camp services available for those times where school is not in session. We have support groups both for some teens to connect to each other in a supportive way, as well as for caregivers to connect in a supportive way, and those are run by our social workers. We offer seminars and a learning series on different ABA strategies, and those are geared towards our caregivers and our different resident workers and professionals. We offer clinical case coordination and navigation to our families, as well as we offer free virtual consultations every Tuesday on either a behavior needs, speech needs, or service navigation needs. So we have lots available on every different avenue for families with autism.
That's amazing. That's a lot of services. That's great.
Yes, it
Uh,
is.
so, where can you find out about the costs involved in therapy?
So the direct therapy costs are really dependent on what your goals are. So the intensity and the duration really are dependent on the number of goals and the type of goal that that family wants to work on. So the best way for someone to understand what the cost is specific to their child is to just give us a call. Our family service team is at extension 1333 at Hands, and we can really talk to you about what that would look like, some basic cost ideas, and then if you want some more information, we can go a little further, do an initial interview with you, get a little more thorough on what you're looking for, and get a quote ready for you that's really specified and individualized to your needs yourselves.
Perfect. Are therapy costs covered through the interim one-time funding from the Ontario Autism Program?
Yes, so our behavior therapy and our speech therapy are both covered with your OAP funding, and those are counted as a direct therapy. And then all of our other services are actually foundational services. So once you're registered with the Ontario Autism Program, you can get free foundational services that cover some trainings and resources and some navigation needs that you may have for your family.
Perfect. Um, what is autism spectrum disorder?
Autism spectrum disorder is a developmental disorder. It's characterized by deficits in social communication, as well as many of our children have restricted and repetitive behaviors. We see these on very different scales, and every child is unique, depends on what their needs are specific to those domains, but all characterized by that social communication and repetitive behaviors.
Yes. When does autism usually appear?
So the diagnosis of autism usually comes after their child turns 2 to make sure it's not characterized by other developmental issues, but you can diagnose autism at any age.
Okay. How is autism diagnosed?
So autism is diagnosed by either a psychologist or a physician, and they follow some commonly used tools. Um, they would use a variety of tools to do this diagnosis, though, to really investigate what those symptoms are. Some of them may use direct observations of the child, as well as some indirect observations or interviews with parents and caregivers and people who know that child really well, so then get a holistic view of what the characteristics are and to really understand where they fall in that autism spectrum.
Okay. To your knowledge, how widespread is autism?
So the latest stats we see are in Canada, they estimate 1 in 66 people have autism. We do know that autism is more prominent in males than it is females. And we're starting to see that variation in that number, but 1 in 66 is a good average for across Canada.
Wow, eh?
Yeah.
What role do parents play in the diagnosis of autism?
So parents are that first step, right? They're the ones who know their child the best. They're the ones who are likely going to see those red flags before anybody else often. So they're the ones who are really taking that first step. So if they think that, if there's a parent out there who thinks their child has autism, now you always start with your family doctor, having that conversation. There's online screenings on our website. In particular, we have a red flag, screening, and going through that to see if they've reached their milestones or typical development. If you're seeing some impairments there, then it's up to the parent to reach out and get that connection. And they'll also be part of those interviews to really capture what that child looks like when they're away from that test center. So when they're in home, following daily routines, how much can they communicate? How much can they do things for themselves in the day-to-day? It's really that parent who knows their child best. And so they're that pivotal role in diagnoses.
Okay. What should parents do after they learn their child has autism?
So after they learn that their child has autism, I think one of the biggest pieces is to take a deep breath and really understand what that means for their child. Not to focus too much on the diagnosis, because their child is still their child and the loving child that they are, but then start getting connected. So connect with the Ontario Autism Program. Register so you can access all the free resources that are available that come with that, and whatever parts of that program. And then we always recommend them connecting with us. We can help support them with that connection to OAP. We can help them really figure out what those main pieces are. Sometimes Google can take you down a rabbit hole of all kinds of information. So don't go too big too soon and get overwhelmed with yourself. It's going to take some time to process that diagnosis. And our family service team is always here to support that process and get you in touch with the best services at each step along the journey.
That's great information. Is autism treatable?
Autism in itself is such a spectrum of disorders. We've definitely worked with children who are quite impaired in their day-to-day life, who we bring to a typical developing level, who can interact with peers, and some may not even know their diagnosis. I believe that a lot of those symptoms are treatable if you teach in an appropriate way designed for that child. So not every child will learn the same way. It's important to get in touch with people who recognize that and who recognize the ability to try different avenues so that the child learns at their speed and their level. And we've definitely had some great success with different therapies to see those skills rise and the child be able to interact with their peers and their family in a much more positive way.
Great. Can parents visit the program in person?
So currently we have a lot of our services are available in person, but not all of them. With everything going on with COVID, our priority is really to keep our families and our staff safe. So we are doing a lot of things virtually and by the phone right now, especially our intake is a lot of over the phone and virtual connection. And then when it comes to services in general, if it appears that the child really needs that in-person services, we can definitely do in-person services. As long as we follow all the IPAC measures and making sure everyone stays safe. We are hoping to get back to all in person again soon in the future.
No
as
kidding.
I'm sure everybody is.
Yeah.
A lot of what we're doing is virtual right now, and until the need comes where that just isn't working.
Okay.
But there's a lot we can do virtual, right? Just like
Of course. I
in
mean,
person.
yeah, it's pivoting.
Exactly.
Do you have a wait list for services?
So it depends on the services. As we spoke about, we have a lengthy list of different services available. So most of them do not have a wait list at this time. Our direct services have a minimal wait list, but it really does depend on what you're looking for. There's a lengthy difference between the needs of coming in and needing 20 to 30 hours of support per week and needing 1 to 2 hours of support per week. And we really prioritize need and what we can, how many children we can take in at a time.
Okay.
So the best
Um,
thing to know for that is to give us a call, chat with us about what you're looking for, and we can let you know what type of weight you're looking for.
okay.
You're looking at.
So at hands, what age groups do they take?
So in our autism services at hand, we work with families between the ages of 0 and 18, typically more after that diagnosis part. So we definitely see more kids around the 2, 3, 4-year olds range, and then up to 18 years of age. And then we help with that transition to the adult services as well.
Great. Do you or does hands provide integration into the community program, like a social skills program?
Absolutely. If you come to us with any need that you have or any goal that you have for your child, we can definitely work with you to make that happen. So if that goal is community programming, whether that's on a recreational basis or a school basis, we work with whatever other agencies to really help get their child where you want them to be and learn the skills to be successful in that environment.
Perfect. How can clients and their family members give feedback on the services offered by hands?
All right, so we love feedback. That's how we continue to evolve as a program. So we have many different avenues for this. Our family service team is a great start. So Extension 1333 is our team of workers who are always there to listen to you, both looking for what services help you with the services you're looking for, as well as to give us feedback. At the end of all of our offerings, we do give out a feedback survey. So we ask that people just complete a few questions to let us know how their experience was and if there's anything that we were missing or any valuable feedback that we can help to evolve the program. And then each year we have focus groups in the summer. So we meet with families. We do a reach out for people who have accessed our service or have called and interested in our service to see if anyone's who wants to give us some extra feedback. And we've done that the last 2 years, and we're hoping to continue that as we continue to evolve. We find the feedback we gain from those sessions are so great because families have time to sit and think about what they've experienced and what we can change. And then we base our new year of programming based on a lot of that feedback that we get each year.
Perfect. Last question. Where can family members or caregivers reach hands, the family network?
So Hands Family Health Network has a great website. So I direct everyone to the website. It's handsfamilyhealthnetwork.ca. As well as we have our autism email, so autism@hands.tfhn.ca. We have a Facebook page under Autism Services as well, and that's where we put a lot of updates and crafts and family activities and games that we recommend playing. And then the big one is you can give us a call anytime. We have people at the phone Monday to Friday at 1-800-668-8555, and then our extension is 1333 to get a hold of Autism Services.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Paula, for taking this time. I'm sure all the families out here in the community will love all this information that you've provided today.
Well, thanks for having me, Angel. It's great to meet you.
You as well. Have a good day.
You too.